Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, your sanctuary of information, taking you on a roller coaster ride across the city of endless possibilities, bringing you great vibes that resonates with the time and season. And speaking about time and season, today is the 21st of December, 21st of November, the 326th day of the year 2024. So if you count like we usually do, it means that we have barely 40 more days to wrap up the year 2024. And if that sounds pretty nice, it means there's a lot that you can still achieve, even though the days might be looking fewer, right? If you're liking that to your journey this year, if you're liking your journey to a relay race, then we can safely say that we are heading towards the last lap of the year, and we're getting ready to hit the finish line. All right, you're welcome to Buildright. This is your one-stop diary for the built environment, and it comes to you every Thursdays from 9:15 through 10 o'clock. You're welcome. My name is Victor Oteri. All right, so all through last quarter and this quarter, we've been taking you on an excursion through the localities to x-ray the role of district officers in the built environment. And today we're going to be taking it a notch higher. But before then, we'll be connecting you with the roads to find out what's going on. But first off, let's have a word from our partners. When we return, it'll be time to begin the conversation.
Dear Lagosians, the vision of making Lagos a sustainable and resilient state through community regeneration and inclusive physical planning begins with building right. We all have a role to play in achieving this vision in line with the Lagos State Urban and Regional Plan and Development Law of 2019 as amended. Do you know that before buying a land or building on it, you must check for the permissible use from the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development? Do you know that you must obtain a planning permit and authorization to commence the construction of your building? Do you also know that you require state certification and certificate of completion for building construction in Lagos State? Estate developers must obtain layout approval before developing their estate and obtain full planning permit after the expiration of a provisional planning permit. Their Lagosians, do not carry out unapproved renovation, remodeling or demolition. Do not break the seal on an enforced property. Do not obtain fake planning permits and do not abandon uncompleted buildings. Do not break the law. Build right in accordance with the state operative development plans. Let's work together to make Lagos a sustainable smart city of choice. For more information, download the Lagos State MPP UD app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe Announcer, Lagos State Government.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Buildright is a program we set for the conversation, but let's quickly take you through the roads. Broken down 40-foot container laden truck having sharp problem at Trinity inwards mile 2. That one is receiving attention. We're still tracking that as well. Airport Road, we can tell you movement from Ajao Estate, that corridor still looking pretty good, especially from Oshodi Expressway inwards areas like Akpakun, Nako, Airport Road, all looking pretty good this Thursday morning. Airport Road connecting Ajao Estate Gate and Fatai Irawo Junction, as well as Awoni Elemo Junction, all looking pretty good. Latif Salami as well, connecting Ashafa Afari Ogun Street inwards Eleganza and Chivita. That is trial stretch down to Keno, proceeding towards NNPC, all looking pretty good. NNPC inwards Keno on the return journey, Chivita, Lukmon Atobajem, and swimming pool, as well as Hollandia Way, Eleganza, connecting Ashafa Afari Ogun Street inwards areas like Osolo Way, all looking pretty good. No major breakdowns there to report at this time. Anthony, we can tell you, movement from the foot of Domalong Bridge inwards journey, Anthony, both on the main carriageway and the service lane, is moving at a faster pace as we speak. Anthony inwards journey Ojota up to the interchange heading towards Maryland is still good, even though we have a little slowness at Ojota, but no major worries experienced at this time. All right, for some time now, we've been talking about what you should do if you see any infraction with the built environment. And we've been asking that question, if you'll be willing to whistleblow if you see anything that is wrong in your neighborhood that relates to the built environment. we'll be trying to let you know why you need to whistleblow. Mike James has been speaking with some residents in Agege to hear from them if they will be willing to whistleblow if they find any infraction with the built environment.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I just need just a few seconds from you.
Okay.
So have you heard about the amnesty program which the Lagos State government has come up with for owners of existing buildings who do not have a building permit?
No, I've heard about it, but I didn't really understand it. So,
okay. Okay, so it's for those who have erected buildings or structures without a building permit. So the government has come out to say, okay, there's going to be a waiver. Instead of paying penalties, just go and get your building permits without paying the stipulated penalties.
Okay.
Yeah, so but in the area where you live, in Agege here, have you noticed any building or maybe a couple of buildings that are looking dilapidated, unfit for habitation, but yet people are living in it?
There are so many.
Now, if you have the right channel to report such building, would you whistleblow?
I will blow the whistle now, so that's because it's causing so many accidents. There are some uncompleted buildings, some houses are bent, even cracking, and people are still living in it. So if I see such, I will report. If I see a right source to report to, because sometimes you will report, there won't be any response. So if I see a right source to be, and they will act on it. So I will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I just need a few moments from you. Hope you don't mind.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I want to talk about the amnesty program which the Lagos State government has come up with regarding owners of existing structures who do not have a building permit. Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay, let me tell you about it. It's for those who have existing structures, who have built houses over the years, but do not have a building permit. Now, the government has come out to say, okay, go and get your building permit. But ordinarily, you are supposed to pay a penalty for erecting a structure here in Lagos without a building permit. So he has waived that aside and said, okay, go get your building permit without paying the penalty which you're supposed to pay. So that's what it's all about. But let me ask you, in the area where you live, have you noticed any building or maybe a couple of buildings looking, dilapidated or, unfit for habitation, but yet people are living in it?
Yes.
Okay, you've seen such buildings around you?
Yes.
So if you have the right channel where you can report, are you willing to whistleblow?
To report?
Yes, to report such buildings. Would you be willing to whistleblow?
I won't like to report. It's better I get to the at least to try to know the owner of the structure, to tell him that this is the implication that a government may come at any time. Government agents may report that they should do something on it.
Okay, but what if he has been told about it, but he decides to ignore that? Nothing will happen to you, Joe. So would you be willing to go to the right, channel to report such building?
Yes, I will go to the right channel.
Why would you want to?
To save lives, because the place can collapse at any time, and we let the at least the injured that I will tell that they should not disclose that I was one that I reported.
Of course, whistleblowing will keep you anonymous. So you're willing to whistleblow?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I just need to talk to you briefly about the amnesty program which is ongoing. The amnesty program the Lagos State government has come up with, regarding owners of existing buildings who do not have building permits or approval. Are you aware of this amnesty program?
Because I'm kind of closer to the government, I get to be aware, but I have not seen any public notice. It was from mouth to mouth I got to know. I have not seen any public notice regarding that. There's no official awareness.
Okay, so let me ask you now, in the area where you live, have you noticed any building or maybe a couple of buildings that are looking unfit for habitation, looking dilapidated, but yet people are living in it?
No, not in the area where I live, but along the road when I commute, I've seen dilapidated buildings. Now,
the question is, if you have the right channel, if you're given a channel where you can report such buildings, are you willing to whistleblow?
Yes, I would because some of these buildings are endangering lives of occupants.
So you're willing to whistleblow?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, then. So Mike James has been speaking with residents in Agege to hear from them if they've heard of the amnesty program and if they're also willing to whistleblow if they find any infractions with the built environment. Let me bring in my guests who've been seated for quite a while. Town planner Folashade Kehinde, Aina, is here with me. She's an assistant director, town planning services with the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, and she's also the head of Agege District Office. Town planner Aina, nice to have you in the building. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Lagos.
And how are you doing?
Fine.
You need to move closer to the microphone so that we can hear you very well. So how was your journey here?
Was seamless.
Okay, that's good. Joining her as well is another lady, architect Odukoya Aderonke Temitope. Of course, she's Chief Technical Officer Architecture with the Lagos State Building Control Agency, and she's also the head of the LASBCA office, the district office in Agege. Town planner, architect Aderonke, nice to have you in the building. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Great. So you heard from people on the streets in Agege there, and some of them were saying they've not heard of the amnesty program. How do you feel about that? Let me start with the town planner in the building.
Honestly, I am disappointed.
Okay.
Because prior to the amnesty, we had a series of stakeholders meeting. We had road shows that were held. We had jingles on the radio. We had billboards. So for someone to say...
So you had a lot of engagement.
A lot of stakeholders engagement.
Okay, maybe these ones are just passers-by in Agege.
Exactly, and may not be property owners in Agege.
Okay,
yes,
so that could just be the reason. Yes. All right, but let's talk about the amnesty program as it is. So far, so good. How is it going on in Agege? I will still hold on with you, town planner. That's the town planner in the building. Folashade, I know, yes.
So far, so good. It's been very seamless. The turnout has been very massive and very encouraging.
So people are coming.
A lot of people. Majorly, Agege is mostly developed. We've had redevelopments all over the area. So most times before people start that redevelopment, they've been coming to obtain their permits. And for those that went ahead and even did without obtaining the permits, they've taken good advantage of this open window. They've keyed into it, and the turnout is very massive.
Architect Odukoya, how's it been for you as, from the LASBCA office? How's the amnesty program been?
Actually, initially before the amnesty and this waiver of penal, we've been doing our normal monitoring for the existing building, auditing for the existing building. We advise them to come and to get their approval, especially those people that have most of them already have the structure without approval.
Right.
So we advise them, we serve them notice, we encourage them that we give them letter, they to come and do their approval. Then doing the amnesty now, people are responding. Even major people, especially the Lagosian, they were so happy. Actually, with this one, that the window that opened, they were so happy to have that opportunity for them.
So they've been coming as well,
yes,
and you can see that activity.
Positively, they respond very well,
which is very, very good.
Yes.
All right, then. So let's begin to dissect your roles now. And town planner Folashade Kehinde, what are the roles of district officers in the localities, for instance, in the built environments? What's your role?
Thank you, Mike. Basically, our statutory role is to ensure the implementation of government policies. One of the government policies is obtaining planning permits before you start any developments. The developments are of various types, like my colleagues have mentioned as they've been coming. So the first thing we do as town planners, as district officers, is to ensure that the government policy of obtaining planning permits is adhered to.
Okay.
It is a policy, so it is a law.
Right.
It's binding on anybody who wants to develop in Lagos State.
So they must come to you first within Agege.
Within Agege.
Right. And for LASBCA, what's your own duty?
Actually, As an LASBCA, the LASBCA duty, after they have already obtained the approval, even because I used to say that LASBCA start the construction and LASBCA end the construction.
Okay.
After they obtain the approval, they will apply for the authorization to commence construction.
And they have to do that with your office, right?
Yes, they have to do that in our headquarters. They will write the letter to the headquarters, then they will bring the copy down to our office, our district office at Agege. So they will write the letter for the authorization to commence the construction. Then we supervise from stage to stage because we have to look at the conformity, what they have on the approval that is conform what you are constructing on the site.
All right. And so, town planner, I know Agege is very, very popular in Lagos.
Yes.
At least for nothing else, people know Agege bread, right?
Yes.
So, Agege now, what are the communities that fall under Agege where you superintend?
We have the core Agege itself. We have Orile Agege, LCDA. We have Dokpemu. We have Abekuta, a little part of Abekuta Expressway towards Abule Egba. And then inwards, back to the Abattoir area, and then back to the core Agege itself.
Right.
Again.
So is Agege very big, architect Aderonke?
No, sir, because I'm covered the...
Okay, which areas do you cover?
Yeah, the core Agege.
Okay, that's the only area you cover.
Yeah, that's the area that I cover. Then under the core Agege, I have the Iwaya Road, the Dokpemu Road, then the Obagun G Road, then there's the partial. Then I have these places like Aluminium Village.
Okay.
Then the Guinness Industrial Area.
Oh, all those areas.
Yes.
You cover those this point.
And partially part of the Lagos Abeokuta Express Road. Yes,
right.
sir.
So that means town planner Folashade, it means your own area of coverage is much wider.
Yes.
From the look of things.
Yes. I cover Orile plus the core Agege.
Right. And how long have you been doing this?
For a few years now, about 2 years now.
Okay, because I know district officers, the likelihood of them moving you from one location to the other is very, very high, right?
Yes.
All right. So how do district officers ensure compliance with the Lagos State's urban and even the regional planning laws? How do you guys do that?
The first thing I would say is we ensure compliance by monitoring.
Okay.
When we grant you approvals, we follow up to ensure that what we have granted is what you are building.
Okay. So
another way to ensure compliance is by involving the stakeholders in meetings, encouraging them, educating them on the need to stay within the approval granted.
Let's talk about these approvals now. So how many types of approvals do you give at LASPPPA?
We give 2 types of approvals. We have the full permits, planning permits, and we have the provisional planning permits.
Right.
Now, these 2 are embedded in other various types. Like we have the demolition permits, we have the planning permit for construction, we have the layout permits, we have the fencing permits, we have remodeling permits, we have renovation permits.
All right. So each of these permits now, or perhaps if I'm going to get a permit from you, if I come to your office in Agege, how long will it take me? How many days?
10 working days.
10 working days. So 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, I'm going to get my planning permit.
Provided that
good.
You submit all supporting documents correctly and within before bringing the drawings to us for registration.
Right. So once I submit all these things to you, you give me a planning permit. I've successfully gone through that. At what point do I come to architect Aderonke Odukoya? At what point do I come to you?
Actually, they are responding, and before they even apply for the approval, we do screening. So we have to screen their drawing. So certify it that is okay for the processing.
Okay, so when they submit this to LASPPPA,
yes.
LASPPPA will forward it to you?
No, yes, the forward is probably they come themselves to screen the architectural drawing. Then one will clear it, then we take it to to the planning office for the further processing.
All right. Okay, so with all of that, then they can start. But will it be right if I get this planning permit and the next thing I start building?
No, sir.
It won't.
You have to.
What am I supposed to do?
You have to apply for the authorization to comment.
I have to come to you first.
Yes.
All right.
So you now check the conform. Once you are on the site, you have all the necessary things. You go that approval that you have to check it on the site for the conformity that you have. Then the stage by stage inspection, which is spread from the foundation. We start from the foundation to check the specification that is what you have on the paper on the approval planning that you are following.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. We're simplifying the planning permit and building approval process in Lagos State through the district offices. And today we're reflecting on Agege. Of course, those of you in Agege, my folks in Agege, today's your turn. So I'm sure you might want to ask the district officers we have in the building one or two questions that relates to this. Feel free, 08099120777 and 09153877127. All right, 09153877127. That's the numbers that you can connect with us if you want to ask the district officers in the building any question. What are the challenges facing you? Let me get back to Town Planner Folashade. I know. What are some of the challenges that you face as you go about this task of granting planning permit approvals?
One of the challenges is documentation. A lot of times people come up with documents that are incomplete.
Okay.
So it gives us it takes a lot of effort to let them understand what they need to obtain the permits.
Okay, so that's a major challenge.
That is the challenge, because a lot of people want to come and get a full permit with ordinary receipts.
Okay.
It takes a lot of effort to make them understand that you cannot obtain a full planning permit with ordinary receipts, that you need more documentation to do that.
All right. And for architect Aderonke, what are the challenges confronting you?
Actually, there's no more challenging. The issue is that once they have the approval, then they will not apply for the authorization to commence. So when during our routine monitoring, when we get them to the site, we are asking them why they not have their authorization to commence the construction. So this and that, then they will give a seal, and again they believe that once they pay, they will start construction, which is not the right thing.
Right.
Then most of them it's not what they have on the approval that they are constructing. Yes.
You mean it?
So we have to compare them to sub and reverse to what they have on the approval.
All right. This one says, good morning to you, Victor, and the guests in the studio. I want to know if they are there. And it says, I want to know if there are periodic inspections to ensure adherence to approved plans. Thanks. Biodun is sending that one in from Ogba. So do you guys carry out periodic inspections?
Thank you, Mike. In response to Biodun...
My name is Victor, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Victor.
Yeah.
So in response to Abiodun, like we said, after granting the approvals, we too don't just stop that we've granted approvals. We check periodically to ensure that all the standards stated on the planning permit are adhered to.
Okay. So
if we find infractions and LASBCA has not gotten there, we serve notices too.
Okay.
To compel them to stay within the approval granted. You know, a lot of people, like some will have drainages, big drainages near them.
Mm-hmm.
They would want to build beyond. It's my land. I want to, provided it's behind me, I can still move a little bit backwards.
And there's supposed to be some kind of
setback. Exactly. So
okay.
we ensure that they do not go beyond what we have granted. So it's not about granting permits alone and allowing them to just go ahead and start construction and not see what is happening. We also go out periodically to check if what we have granted is what they are building.
All right. This one says, hello, Traffic Radio. How do I know if my project requires a planning permit? You didn't put your name, by the way. All right. So Is it not all projects that require the planning permit?
That's what I said it earlier. I said it is a government policy.
Okay, so you must have a planning permit.
You must have a planning permit for any development carried out in Lagos State.
All right, this one says, good morning. Can I apply for a permit or approval online? Temi is sending that one in.
Yes, Temi, you can apply for an approval online. And that is done by our EPP department at the headquarters. There's a website.
Okay. For them to do that. Okay. All right. So, Temi, that answers your question. Please, you can go ahead and if you go to MPPUD, I'm sure that you'll be able to get much more, especially on the website. This one says, how do I appeal a denied application? Thank you. Okay, you didn't put your name too. So, if an application has been denied, is there a way one can appeal for it? I can appeal it?
Yes, you can appeal. How do you do that?
Talk to me.
You can. We have a committee that we call the Planning Appeals Committee. They have periodic sittings, and so if you feel you applied and your application was denied, you can take your appeal there. They will look into it.
All right.
And if at the end of the day the committee deems it fit that it should be applied, they will come and it should be granted. They would come up with their recommendations and send it to the agency for reconsideration.
All right, 08099120777. See, some of you are trying. Network a bit cranky, but keep trying. 08099120777 and 09153877127. These are the numbers that you can connect with us this morning on the program. Very little time left, by the way, but some of your messages still streaming in. This one says, good morning, I am Abidemi. Are there exceptions for small scale or minor construction projects? So do you have exceptions for that?
There are no exceptions.
Okay, it's the same thing.
Development is development. Once you start construction of anything, you have to obtain your planning permits.
Right. But in your own office at Agege, is there a limitation of which you can grant?
Yes. Usually, I grant the ground and the first floor.
Okay.
For residential uses only.
Residential?
Yes,
only?
Only.
So anything above that?
Anything above that goes to the higher authority, the agency itself,
right,
for concurrent approvals in Ikeja.
In Ikeja, at the headquarters.
At the headquarters.
All right, and Architect Aderonke, are there limitations for you in your office that you can work on?
There is. It depends on the approval granted.
If I'm building a mall of, let's say, about 5 floors,
that you for the supervision.
Yes.
So you have to go to our headquarters.
Okay, so
yes.
your
own limitation is. My own limitation is ground floor
and the first floor.
The first floor, yes.
So anything above that, yes, your own men in Agege cannot work on it, right?
Yes.
It has to be from the headquarters.
Yes, headquarters.
Wow. Okay, so that means that's a kind of structure that is put on ground. As we round this off this morning on the program, what would you say to people who are yet to tap into this amnesty? What's your message, Architect Aderonke? Let me start with you first.
Well, I would say encourage them. I think they still have little days now because we are I think they are ending it by December.
Right.
So they still have now. They can still do whatever they want to do now to get this opportunity. Then because once it's closed, they have to be paying the
penal fee. All right. And your partner thought on the program as well, town planner Folashade, I know.
Let's avoid the penal fees. Lagos, come out en masse. Let's enjoy this amnesty. It's a good one by the governor. Don't let it slip you by.
All right. It's a very, very good advice that she has given. Please do not let it slip you by. Ladies in the building, let me say a very big thank you to you for making it through. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right. That's town planner Folashade Kehinde, Aina, who's an assistant director of town planning services with the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority and the district head of Agege LASPPPA office. And I've also been having in the studios Architect Architect Odukoya Aderonke Temitope, who is the Chief Technical Officer Architecture with LASBCA and the head of the Agege District Office. We have to go. Mike James has produced the program this morning. I say big thank you. Magdalene in the building as well. And Deborah Boledioku, as well as Okoyemi Shodunke. They are of our social media unit. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. Next Thursday, Buildright will return by 9:15. But before then, you can catch up with me tomorrow on Your Side Mirror. Bye.